What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Big Fat Fuel channel, where we speak the truth, we're honest, and we give our takes on the Miami Dolphins. It is Friday, September 13th, 2024. I didn't want to do this, and it sucks that we have to do this so early in the season. It's week 2 of the regular season, but we all know last night was miserable, right? Last night was, I believe, one of the worst nights in franchise history. I'm just going to go out and flat out say last night against the Buffalo Bills, losing 31 to 10, Tua getting a concussion, was one of the worst moments in franchise history. And we're going to sit here for about 20 to 25 minutes and we're going to have ourselves a conversation. And we are going to talk about everything. And if you hear my golden retriever barking in the background, I'm sorry, can't control that. We are going to talk about everything. We are going to talk about Tua. We're going to talk about Chris Grier and all the mistakes he's made this off season, the past off seasons. And I have been preaching something for the past 3 years on this channel, and I did not know it was going to come back to bite us in the ass right now. No idea. And there's a couple things that some neurologists said that if I could find it, we will dive into. Um, so yeah, man, I'm still numb. I'm still numb coming off of last night. And that disaster of a performance with the cherry on top being the concussion to Tua Tagovailoa. It blows, man. It just blows. So, if you haven't already, be sure to go ahead and check out last night's post-cap recap video. I'm sure you don't want to listen to me talk bad shit about the Dolphins, but or maybe you do because that's how I get the most views. But um, go ahead and check out last night's post-game recap video. We talk about the Bills dominating the Dolphins again, and we talk about the concussion to Tua Tagovailoa, even though we're going to talk more about it now. So that's what we might as well talk about. Tua, according to Amazon, I turned the game off with 7 minutes to go. I stopped watching. I was so checked out of the game. Um, According to Amazon, Tua was he was what do you say? He was alarmed. He was in the locker room. He was with his family in the locker room, and he was with his family and Teron Armstead, who of course got injured last night. Um, he hugged Tua's brother, and he gave a hug to Tua, and there was a photo of Mike McDaniel giving Tua Tagovailoa a kiss on the forehead last night. You guys see it in the thumbnail of this video. So that was really emotional. And then Mike McDaniel, we'll play the clip. Mike McDaniel, he knows the real situation. This is his response to whether Tua Tagovailoa should retire. after last night's concussion. This is about a 2 minute clip. This is his response to his concussion last night.
I think it would be um, so so wrong of me to even sniff that subject, and it's more in line of actually caring about the human being, and that's something that entirely you're talking about his career, right? His career is his, you know, and that's something that I think I just really, really, really wish. I totally understand it, and it's not misplaced. I totally get how that's where people want to go to. I just wish that people would, for a second, hear what I'm saying. That bringing up his future is not in the best interest of him. So I'm going to plead with everybody that that does genuinely care, that should be the last thing on your mind, because you don't, like, what do you think that's, if I would answer that question, I'd be like, all right, this is my thoughts on his career, and he read it. If he agreed with it or he disagreed with it, either way, I've just made him worse. So I'm not taking this opportunity to just not, I don't think it's appropriate, simply because of my care and regard, and I don't think those types of conversations, when you're talking about somebody's career, I think it probably is only fair that their career should be decided by them.
So that was the response by Mike McDaniel today on whether or not people should be assessing Tua Tagovailoa and him retiring. We'll get into all of that next. But they're just a very much of a class act was Mike McDaniel throughout this whole situation of Tua Tagovailoa and the concussion. And also, even though we hate him, I do want to give a shout out to Josh Allen. He was on the Thursday night panel last night after they beat the Dolphins, and this was what Josh Allen. He was a class act, and he wished Tua all the best. Talked about him off the field. This is a short 25-second clip of what Josh Allen said about Tua last night.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you know Tua outside of football like you do, like I do, you can't help but feel for him. He's a great football player, but he's an even greater human being. He's one of the best humans on the planet. I got a lot of love for him, and I'm just praying for him and his family. I'm hoping everything's okay. But yeah, it's tough, man. This game of football that we play, it's got its highs and it's got its lows, and that's definitely one of the lows.
So he calls him one of the best human beings on earth, and gives his flowers to Tua Tagovailoa after last night. So shout out to Josh Allen for that one. So if I can find here we go. I'm just gonna pull up what a neurologist said, and there's so many different opinions. I'm getting this from Today News. This is gone outside of the sports meet. This is going on outside of sports world. This is worldwide, based off the severity he had in his first concussion with the game 2 years ago against the Cincinnati Bengals. He's now on his third concussion in the past 2 years. And this is what Today had to say about the Tua Tagovailoa sustaining a third concussion. They say a neurologist and sports medicine doctor explained what we know about the impact of repeated concussions. Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa sustained his third confirmed career concussion during Thursday Night Football against the Buffalo Bills, prompting many to wonder about the length of the 26-year-old's professional football career and begging the question, how many concussions is too many? There's no clear timeline for his return, Dolphins coach Mike McDaniel said. On Friday, McDaniel said it was unlikely Tagovailoa would play in the Dolphins' next game a week from Sunday against the Seattle Seahawks, NBC News reported. He added he did not intend to give the quarterback any advice on whether he should retire. He said, I think it would be so wrong for me to even stiff that subject. McDaniel said, even if I would answer that question, I'd be like, all right, this is my thoughts on his career, and he read it, and if he agreed with it or he disagreed with it, either way, I just made it worse. So then they go into how many concussions is too many concussions. And they go into this. I'm just skipping some nonsense here. So, what is the 3 concussion rule? A study from January 2023 also found that experiencing 3 or more concussions is linked with worsened brain function in later life, according to researchers at the University of Oxford. However, the Oxford researchers also found that as little as one moderate concussion can have long-term effects. According to Cardone, there's misinformation around the idea that it's 3 concussions and done. So, is 3 the limit? I do remember at the end of the 2022 season that Tua Tagovailoa said, the next concussion, if I get one that I get, I will sit down and fit with my family and have a conversation. And he did say that. And there's neurologists saying that he should be shut down for the rest of the season. And you can't argue against it because this is severe. This is not good. And, the severity of the concussions that Tua has had throughout his career, it's scary. The one in Cincinnati last night, you are not going to see him for a while. And here's what I'll say. I'm not going to sit here, and now we're going to kind of transition and we're going to talk about the rest of this season. But this is what I mean when I talk about having an uncomfortable conversation, right? I don't want to sit here and predict whether or not Tua is going to retire or not. Whatever Tua Tagovailoa, the man, wants to do, I 1,000% back him up on it. If he wants to continue his NFL career and come back and play this season, then I fully support him. If he doesn't, and he wants to retire, and he wants the betterment of his family, and he doesn't want to put his family through this, then I absolutely understand that. I understand. But let's say, and I don't want to assume things, but let's say he does retire. Okay? We are just assuming. We are not predicting. We're assuming. We're assuming he retires. His career's over. He's no longer going to be able to play in the NFL. His career's over. I would ride the year out with Skylar Thompson. At this point, who cares? Who cares about this season? This season is a lost cause. The season's over. Last night, the season ended. In week 2 of the 2024 season, the season was over on Thursday Night Football against the Buffalo Bills. You are not winning games with Skylar Thompson. You are not a playoff team with Skylar Thompson as your starting quarterback. And you can bring in Ryan Tannehill. You can bring in Jimmy G. It's going to take them a long time to learn the system. And you have to wonder, do these guys even fit the system? That's something you have to wonder. So I honestly don't think it's worth it. I think, and I hate using this term, this might have negative impact in the locker room with guys like Tyreek, guys like Armstead, Waddle, Ramsey, guys who are being paid big money contracts, but they're going to have to suck it up for this season. I would punt the season away. I would ride out the year with Skylar Thompson. Maybe we end the year with 5 or 6 wins. With Tua's injury, I think that's our max. Honestly, and I'm not hating, that's our maximum amount of wins we are going to get. We are going to win a max 5 to 6 games this year. So then you ride the season out with Skylar. You go 6-11. You are guaranteed to have a top 10 pick in the NFL draft in 2025. And you're going to have quarterbacks like Carson Beck. You're going to have Quinn Ewers. You're going to have Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders. I think Beck and Quinn Ewers will be gone by then. So then I would ride out Skylar Thompson for the rest of this season. I would tank for a top 10 draft pick. And next year's draft, I would draft Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward as our franchise quarterback. Again, that's assuming the career of Tua Tagovailoa is over. So, that's what I think. If that's the way this goes, that's the direction the Dolphins should go in, I think. Because Chris Grier fucked up. He fucked up big time. For the past 3 years, I have talked about on this channel how with an injury-prone quarterback like Tua Tagovailoa, you need a backup. I've preached that for 3 years. And in 2021, they had Jacoby Brissett, and Jacoby Brissett sucked. 2022, they had Teddy Bridgewater. Even Teddy Bridgewater couldn't stay on the field. So we were with Skylar Thompson, the third-string quarterback at the time. Last year, we had Mike White. We did not even have to roll Mike White out. We did not even have to roll Mike White out on the field. Tua Tagovailoa played every game last year. He played every game. And then Mike White didn't even make the team this offseason. He did not even make the team. The Dolphins did nothing. The Dolphins did not get a veteran quarterback in the offseason. You had guys available like Jameis Winston. There's talks about maybe the Dolphins can trade for Justin Fields, right? Joe Flacco is available. Gardner Minshew was available. Drew Lock was available. You had all these... Sam Darnold's another one. You had all these quarterbacks available. And the Dolphins settled for Mike White and Skylar Thompson because now it's coming back to bite them in the ass. It is week 2. Skylar Thompson is your starting quarterback for the future. There is absolutely no way in hell you're getting Tua Tagovailoa back before the bye week. That means you have Skylar for the Seahawks game next week, the Titans game on Monday night, and the Patriots game. So if Tua decides to come back and play this season, I would guess he'd be back by week 7 against the Indianapolis Colts. But Chris Grier, he fucks up once again, not signing a good quality backup quarterback and riding out with Mike White and Skylar Thompson. Mike White didn't even make the fucking team this year, and we're stuck with Skylar Thompson and Tim Boyle as our starting quarterbacks. This team is going fucking nowhere. With all this talent on the roster, they're going nowhere. And believe it or not, they were an 11-6 6th seed last year. Okay? They were the 6th seed in the playoffs. They were a first-round exit, and they got worse in the offseason. And you want to know why they got worse? Because they got worse because of Chris Grier. Chris Greer, the offensive line. The offensive line is way worse this year than it was last year. We didn't replace Robert Hunt. Liam Eichenberg sucks. Robert Jones is hot garbage. And our defensive line is Zach Sealer and a 38-year-old Calais Campbell who plays 30 to 40 snaps a game. And Benito Jones, he sucks. Deshaun Hand's okay. Brandon Peely's a development player. The trenches suck on this team. And the last thing I'll say before I get out of here today is I hate to break it to you, but what you saw last night and the way we got dominated against the Buffalo Bills, we're going to have more games like that this offseason. This is not the last time you've seen the Dolphins play a game like they did last night. You're going to see more of that, and I think you see it again in Seattle next week. So, that's all I got. I'm wrapping this up, and this was supposed to be the picks video. So, we'll do rapid fire predictions real quick. Ravens over Raiders, Chargers over Panthers, Dallas Cowboys over the Saints. We'll take Detroit over Tampa Bay. Baltimore over the Raiders is the lock of the week, by the way. We'll take the Colts over the Packers. Jacksonville over the Browns. San Francisco over the Vikings. Seattle over the Patriots. The Jets over the Titans. Washington over the Giants. Arizona is favored against the Los Angeles Rams. Does this count as an upset? I don't think so, man. I'm going to take the Rams. I'm going to take the Kansas City over Cincinnati. In my upset of the week, I'm going to take the Denver Broncos over the Steelers. Texans over Bears. And Monday night, Eagles over Falcons. So, I'm out. I'll see you next week. Have a good one. Stay safe. And as always, stay classy. I'm out. Peace.